All right, so open up your PowerPoint, and if you notice, we have 5 buttons along the right side. They could be on yours, 5 pictures, 5 elements. This is, again, your navigation bar. So hopefully you've thought about your theme a little bit and how we're going to get around to your 5 different subtopics. For me, this example just has 5 colored circles, and if you notice over here, I've made 5 text boxes, okay? For me, I tried to coordinate with my icons over here. What you need to do is make 5 text boxes. So to do that, you will go to Insert, Text Box, and you'll just draw one out, and then you can type in something as a placeholder. It doesn't need to be final, but something that's going to be able to be tied back to your buttons in a second. So if you need to pause the video, that's fine, but you need to have your 5 clickable navigation items, buttons, pictures, whatever that is, and then 5 text boxes somewhere on the page. So go ahead and pause the video and get that done now. When you have your 5 text boxes ready to go, what I'm going to do is, just for now, I'm going to drag them kind of out of the way. We're not going to bother with all of them quite yet, but I'm going to keep this blue one up here. This is going to be our first text box that we're going to show how to do the animations with. So I'm going to go ahead and click my text box. Notice again, I did try to keep it so that I can remember, all right, this is the blue text box, and it has the blue button that's going to go with it. However, the next step that's really important for you guys to do, if you go up to your Home tab, you'll notice over here on the right, under Find, Replace, you have a Select. Go ahead and hit that little arrow next to that, and then open up the selection pane. What PowerPoint does is it tries to give every element that you've made a name. Now, it's probably not going to be very helpful because you don't know what oval 1 is compared to oval 6, right? But if you click one of them, you'll notice they highlight over there on the main screen. So what you need to do is, again, take a minute and you need to rename whatever the boxes are over here. So this one, if I look, text box 7 is actually highlighting the red text box. So I'm going to be as specific as possible without making the name too long. I'm just going to call it red text. Okay, it fits and it makes sense. Again, text box 8, if I look, it's on the purple text box. So again, I'm just going to do purple text, and we're just going to continue throughout all of your items here along the list. So go ahead and take a second and type all those in. I'm going to go pretty quick here, and if you need to pause the video to get caught up, that's fine, but I'm going to go ahead and name all of my boxes what they are so that I can remember. Now, again, you can name them whatever you want, whatever is going to help you remember, but notice as I'm doing like the red oval here, or the red circle, I wouldn't want to just name it red and then have my red text be called red. I would want to make sure I know at least how I can distinguish them. So nothing too long, but at the same time, at least specific enough to tell between the red circle versus red text. So again, I'm going to keep on naming my objects. You want to have everything that you bring in named. And over the course of this project, you're going to be bringing in a lot of different things: pictures, text boxes, videos, maybe songs that you'll play. So the more carefully you name everything, the more helpful your organization tab over here will be. And it won't be a giant mess to deal with. Anyway, I went ahead and named them. If you are the type that really wants to keep it like super organized, I can drag these things around. So I could say, because my boxes over here are blue, yellow, green, purple, red, maybe I want to keep it the same over here. So I have my blue, then yellow, then I move my green up, then purple, then red. Again, that's optional, but if you are the type that likes to have things in order like that, then that is fine. All right, so again, take a second, make sure everything is named. Again, I'm going to move my other text boxes out of the way for right now. All right, now we start the actual process of making animations that happen when I click things. So if I'm just thinking logically here, when would I want this blue text box to appear? When I hit the button over here? Probably. And again, I'm probably going to want it when I hit the blue button. So what I'm going to do is, when I'm highlighting my blue text box, the thing that I want to actually make appear, I'm going to go to my Animations tab. You have a lot of options. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do add an animation. Now notice you have a lot of entrance effects, emphasis effects, and exit effects. And you even have some motion paths that you can create custom pathing if you want to make stuff move around. For me, I want to first start with an entrance effect. So I want my blue box, my blue text box to enter at some point. I'm going to say I just want it to do a fade. Now again, you can see a lot of different options, and if you click it, you can get a little preview of them. But I'm just going to stick with fade, so you can see the preview. Now, I just did that. I made an animation, but we need to actually make that happen when I click the blue button. So now under this animation area over here, there's this option called a trigger. So what that is a command to the PowerPoint to, when I click on the blue button, I'm going to trigger the blue text box. So I'm going to trigger it on the click of the blue circle. Okay? So let's just go test that real quick. So I'm going to go to slideshow and then start from beginning. Notice it doesn't show up there. When I click on the blue button now, it fades in. Now, we don't really have anything else built yet, so let's go back. Thinking logically again, when would I want this blue text box to leave? Well, probably when I click any other button. When I click the yellow or the red or the purple or whatever other button in any order, okay? So we need to add some more animations. We already have the entrance animation, but now we need to add another animation. We're going to scroll down, and let's have a fade out. So under the exit area, you have all these options. So I'm going to do a fade, and again, for this, I want to add another trigger. And again, if I click on the, let's just say the yellow circle, it's going to go away. Now, again, we have 3 more circles, so I'm going to go back up, add another exit fade, add another trigger on the click of my next circle, which would be the green one. Again, we have 2 more. We need to have 1 entrance and 4 exits for everything that's on the screen, right? So my blue text box is going to, again, fade out on the trigger of the purple circle. And then finally, add 1 more animation, another fade, on the trigger of the red circle. So that's, as you can kind of see, you have 5 little lightning bolts. That's 5 different animations. I would recommend at this point to open up this animation tab or animation pane above the trigger. When you do that, you'll start to see the triggers for all your 5 circles. So under the blue circle, when I click it, the blue text appears. When I click any other circle, that blue text is going to go away. Cool. Let's just go test that. So back on our slideshow from the beginning. Again, nothing happens. I click the blue, it appears. I click any other button, and it fades away. Now I could go in any order. I could click the blue down to the red. It's gone, and it can reappear. So you can start to see the basics of how this is going to happen. Let's just do the next step. I might want to just do the yellow circle next. And let's just say that I've thought about my design, and this is where I kind of want all my text to appear. You've maybe thought about your layout and where things like a video or other images might appear. So think about that, but if you've kind of got things in mind, I'm going to drag my other text right on top of that, and you'll see why in a second. So now, similarly, I want to add, for my yellow text box, a fade in on the trigger of my yellow circle, right? And again, I need to go back, make sure I'm on my yellow text box, add another animation to fade out on the trigger of every other box. So my yellow text box is going to fade out on the blue circle, etc., etc. Now, before we stop with this part of the tutorial, I just want to show you this in the animation pane. You can see there's a 1 and a 2 on both of these. We actually don't want that because that means there are 2 clicks. We want it to happen right with the last option, okay? Or right with the last animation. So if I'm on this exit effect, I want to go over here to this little pull-down menu, and I want to start it with the previous. That means whenever the blue text appears, the yellow text is automatically just going to go away with that previous action, no matter what. I don't have to click it another time or anything like that. So I'm going to do the same thing down here. In general, you want all of these to happen with the first animation. So now let's just do a test. We'll go from the beginning. And I don't have it hidden at first. Oops. Let's try it again. The blue button makes this appear. The yellow button gets rid of the blue, makes the yellow appear. I haven't set up the other ones for the yellow button yet, but I would again have to do that same 1 show animation and 4 exit animations. All right, and eventually you'll have all of your text boxes with the animations set up here, and then you should be able to click in any order you want. That will appear, everything else disappears. The red will appear if I click that, everything else goes away. All right, so that's where the animation pane comes in, tying everything together, and just making sure that you have all of your items labeled properly so that it's not a giant confusing mess once you start adding a ton of different options to the animation pane. Okay, that should do it for that. If you need some tips on other design elements, just watch the other video, but that should be a good starter for basics of triggers, animations, and the animation pane. Again, tie it together and make sure you're kind of taking a look over here on what's happening in each of your triggers. Hopefully that helps. Feel free to watch it again and pause as you have questions. Good luck.